your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Lettuce from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
Well, pitter patter, let's get at her.
And TGIF, everybody.
Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Thank God we are here with you. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Guten Tag. I am good. I am awake. I am here. That is all.
Me too.
Howdy.
What's happening?
How are you doing?
Yeah, that was my question. How are you, good sir?
Well, I'm not so sure who's talking to who at this point, but I'm doing good.
We're all talking to you, I think, Josh. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. Tis Friday, my dudes. It's
there you go.
End of the week. It's going to be a nice, cool day today, like low to mid 80s.
That was our perfect day yesterday, dude. It was 83 degrees, riding around with the windows down, just like this is perfect weather for me. Shirts, t-shirt, 83 degrees.
Like
not hot, I'm not cold.
Right.
It was 94 degrees here with like an 86% humidity. Ridiculous.
Oh,
it's
man.
Like you had to wade through just to walk outside.
Yeah, 104. Anyway, yes, thank you very, very much, Billingtano in chat. Josh did press the button.
Walter, you were slacking.
Nope, I didn't even give him the chance.
He didn't get out. He was on. That's why you haven't heard it, because he was on it. I didn't have to ask or say it, and then just letting Billingtano know. Josh was on it this morning.
On it. He's fresh. Feels good. He looks good. He is good.
He is good.
Oh, so how was the week there, Josh?
It was quiet. Just working.
How the bunnies?
Bunnies are good. For those Patreon members out there, I will be uploading some videos to Patreon this weekend. Yeah, we're now a 3-boy
That's
household.
where I can put all the cat videos.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Where else?
As my phone fills up over and over and over, like, who am I taking these pictures for? I see the cats all the freaking time. I share them with you guys in Telegram occasionally, but not nearly as many as I have. So, yeah. Shout out. So glad to hear your nephew is home, finally feeling better and getting on the mend. So good to hear that.
Yeah. Nope, we went and picked up a new bunny last night. We'd spent the last, I don't know, couple months taking it up, doing the bunny dating thing, taking Harris up there. And it was really Dixie's favorite because she volunteers on Friday nights. So she's familiar with many of the rabbits up there at the House Rabbit Society. And Dahlia was one of her absolute favorites. So we took Harris up there to try to see how he and Dahlia would get along. And they seemed to get along swimmingly. So we finally went and picked up Dahlia last night. She's a white bunny. Decently sized, about as big as Harris is. And it's been, a thing. She hasn't been here 12 hours. So, she's still adjusting. But it's really tough having a white rabbit back in here and seeing a white rabbit run around. It was really tough. Missing Binks. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You gotta paint a big black dot on her forehead.
Maybe like a day glow orange or something.
Just make sure you follow that bunny whenever it takes off somewhere.
What's up, Brian Gasket?
That landed.
I see you in chat there, B. Hope everything is going well. Hope things are going according to plan. We miss you. I'm glad to see you there, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
How was your week there, Walter?
Yeah, it was good. We finally got the car worked out. We had worked on it, I think I mentioned it maybe Friday show, Tuesday show. Hell, I don't even know now. Maybe Tuesdays. It's been an interesting week, though. Just, stressing over the car and not wanting to spend all the money we knew it was going to probably wind up costing us. And it did, but it's fixed. We don't have to sweat it now. So it took a day or two to get it where we wanted it. But yeah, it was good. Good deal. Started working on a new song. Well, new for me. And older Alter Bridge, but just way beyond my skill sets when I first heard it. So now that I'm a little beyond where I was, I put it under my fingers and I'm working on it. So it'll probably be the next video I put up when I get it all down. It's really complicated guitar part, lots of movement, lots of weird, I don't even know what you call them, octave chord shapes. I don't know, weird things, just lots of new stuff for me to figure out, which is always good. I was actually talking to Gary, my buddy, a couple of houses back yesterday. He's still dealing, with things. His dog had passed. I told you guys about that. And then he had that accident under his truck. And so he's been well on the mend on that, but just, still not over the dog situation. Hearing you missing Binks definitely brought that up. He's definitely hurting still about it. So, but it's good that when you have something to take your head out of those places, and that's what I know. He plays guitar, so I told him, man, anything you want to like try to tackle, I mean, I know it, but I'll learn it with you, just to give him something to focus on, some kind of accomplishment for his day, rather than just drudgery of going and do some work and then sitting around the house missing his dog, so it's always good to set a goal for yourself and then accomplish it. Anyway, I want to rant there. Sorry.
I accomplished my goal yesterday.
Yes, sir, you did. I saw it very nicely.
I did the shoreline of South America. I'm doing it because the shorelines were like, they went flat, straight down into the water at the edge. But now I went through everything and made it like a slant that goes down to the ocean floor.
More topographical or whatever.
Yeah, just more physically, aesthetically pleasing on the eyes. It didn't take as long as I thought. I think I'm trying not to put more than like 2 or 3 hours a day in on this thing now because I get lost in there. Yesterday, me and Nemo for like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours yesterday morning. I found a dome thing. I had a dome over it. I had a street light that we blew up to be enormous. That was like the sun. The bottom of the street light was just poking through the top. It looked awesome. I wanted to make the sun go around my flat Earth and make day and night at the same time. Fortnite, which is not something you can do. So I was trying to block out the sun with the dome and then create this track but you can't do any of this stuff. I figured it out. So yeah, just a couple hours of.
Well, I know the sun itself travels. In the game, you can see the shadows moving along there when you stand in one spot.
Yeah, no, but
there's no way for you to hijack that and make it do your own thing. Apparently, yeah,
not yet. Yeah, I mean, you can make it day or night or make it foggy. Right. You can do a lot of stuff, but you can't say, okay, I want the sun to be this high and this bright. Right. Here. That's what I was trying to do, but yeah, not there yet.
Well, anybody who's interested in seeing it, we plan on looking at it this afternoon on the show. Obviously we don't have too much serious going on. If anybody definitely wants to call in, you're welcome to, but we're going to kind of ask you guys, crowdsource some ideas for landmarks, features, just things to make it more, I guess, more iron, if you will.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a sign out in Antarctica that'll say "This way to the Iron Republic."
Nice.
We're going to have Cape Carnival, Flat Earth Farms, Flat Earth Pizza, the Flat Earth Yacht Club, but we need more people. We need more. I mean, even if it's just a sign that says something like, so-and-so saw, Mount whatever from here. We could just put up a little board, like a little wooden sign.
This way to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
But just little stuff like that we're looking for. Just ideas for stuff like that. Making fun of NASA, flat Earth stuff. We've got the at Nemo, it's called Point Nemo. It's the farthest land from any other landmass. It's this little island. Nemo put a bunch of floating rocket parts out there in the water. So that should be a good one. I'm still not. Maybe I'll do that today. I'll get the islands done. I've been putting it off, but I could get back into it. But yeah, it should be cool when we're all said and done with it. It really should. I think it'll. If you just type flat Earth into Fortnite, for searching for people's names, if you just put flat Earth, it's 99 plus. It says it'll give you 100 players with flat Earth in their name. So I know there's a bunch. And yeah, it'd be a great way for people to show others, hey, this is what, how I see the flat Earth. It's not a floating. This is just the ground. Antarctica's a big, we're in the Antarctic basin. Yeah, you can't see past Antarctica now. I made giant walls even around the ice wall. Yeah.
You're not going to put Beloo peeking over the edge of the ice wall.
We could.
Xenu duking it out.
Right, with Xenu.
I saw
I
YouTube.
think Nemo said he joined tonight too.
Oh, awesome.
What were you saying now? Sorry about that.
I was just saying I saw a video the other day of some guy walking around offering $10,000 to the first person from Scientology to read the word on the sign. And the word just said Xenu. And there was 10 or 12 people on the row that refused to say the word. Turned down.
No, they're not allowed to.
Yep. Turned down 10 grand in cash rather than saying the word Xenu.
A word that everybody knows. Well, most people, and anybody that watches South Park knows all about Lord Xenu and the gold DC-10s that dropped all the alien souls into the mountains and all that stuff.
Into radiator fluid, by the way, in case you didn't know that.
But according to their doctrine, they're not allowed to repeat his name to somebody who isn't in the know.
If you even find out about it before like the third Thetan level, you're supposed to like magically die from, I don't know,
Watch
diabetes
out
or
now.
something.
I'm about to say, you better watch it. Oh.
And it was crazy. I didn't believe that. Like when South Park was saying all that stuff, I was like, no, this can't be what they believe. And then that one girl came out who grew up in this stuff. What was her name? She was in...
Is that Leah Remini?
Yeah. And she just flat out said it. Like, yeah, I had seen the South Park episode. I didn't believe it. And then when I went in there and they told me this is actually what it is, and her mom is all, oh my God, aren't you so excited? And she was just like, what the, this can't be real.
Well, yeah, well, rewind 1982, 83, and I'm a young dude, likes to read a lot of off-the-wall literature, a lot of esoteric stuff, dig deep in the library, and I keep seeing people refer to this book. Oh, yeah. Keep people, oh, you got to read it. You got to read it. People I knew, loved, respected their thoughts about things. So I finally went and got my copy of Dianetics. I mean, it was literally being advertised on TV every third commercial. If you guys aren't as old as me, it was just being pushed.
That's
hugely.
what I heard. At first, they were really looking for people. They were really like out there. Now they don't. Now they've got a big group with lots of money to their name, so they don't have to do that so much. But yeah, my mom told me that she saw a lot of those commercials back in the day.
Every other day. I mean, every other commercial felt like a Dianetics commercial. So I read it and I was sucked right in, being that Ron Hubbard was quite the author. If you've never read, what are y'all doing? Be good. If you've never read his work, he, creates worlds, creates philosophies, creates just amazing, deep plot lines. Like Battlefield Earth, I had read before Dianetics. And so, yeah, I knew that he was a great author. And in spite of that, being only like 18, I guess, and it had a lot to do with it, really young and uninformed about a lot of things in our world. And I just like it was going to solve everything. And so here's a card, and I filled it out, and it's a, free whatever, personality reading or whatever. And they called my number and invited me to their little thing, their little org, as they call it. So I take off to Austin, Texas, and I'm there. And I told y'all the story. I got wound up staying overnight in the offices, luckily, and found all their psychotic stuff. That was the night I found out that there was even a thing called Scientology. That definitely was not a name or a word anybody knew about. Like nobody knew that word. Nobody had ever heard of. What is Scientology? But there it is on all these weird books with all these like rituals, and not rituals, but like marriage ceremonies and baptismal, like religion. And I'm like, what the fuck is all this, And then there's the charts with all the military line out of how they all descend down. Here's L. Ron Hubbard, who's God, that they literally stand up at the beginning of a class and turn to a bust of his head and thank him for his tech, and thinking I'm just sitting there with my eyes wide open, freaking the fuck out. Anyway, so yeah, the fact that it was unheard of, unknown, like nobody knew Scientology. And so then, I got out of there, and it was probably 4 or 5 years later that his son put out that book with, one of the dudes from the Watergate book, Woodward, or one of them, anyway. And it was all the background of Hubbard and Oppenheimer and all the NASA sex parties and all that stuff that we all found out about now. And then I'm just like, oh, okay. And it was maybe 2 years after that, this book came out with the secrets of all the stuff you wanted to know. The secret formula for Coke. What's the secret ingredient in, pick something nobody knew about. And of course, in that same book, there was the breakdown of Scientology, and it told you the whole story. And like you said, how they got dropped in the volcano in radiator fluid. Oh my God. And Xenu. And I'm just like beyond, like, I'm like, these are the people who were chasing me and, like literally hunting me down. These are the people that are trying to take over the fucking world. These people who think there's a fucking alien God that they're, oh my God. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was just blown away. Yes, Brother Woodward. Thank you, Laura, in chat.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first cult. I got lots of people involved in it. I just listened to a thing yesterday while mowing on Heaven's Gate. Those people.
Yeah, I just saw. Jesus, I saw a video going over their intro video, their indoctrination video.
Yeah, that was it.
Just this morning, I saw that. Weird.
Yeah, it was quite weird. But people will kind of fall for anything.
There's a great documentary about that whole thing somewhere. I think it's on maybe one of the HBO things or whatever, but it really gets into the whole background of them and the people that got into it with them. And, kind of.
They were saying they were supposed to get on a spaceship that was following a comet, and
Hellbot.
2 of their original members were aliens, supposedly. But after those 2 died, nobody else could join the group because there was no alien member to vet them or whatever. So it got to like 39 people or something like that, all living in this giant mansion together, making websites for people, something like that. And they, once the 2 founding members who claimed to be aliens, once they passed, which they weren't supposed to do, they were all supposed to get on the ship together and take off. Once they died, nobody else could join. And I guess it's still going. There's somebody who was paid to, or not paid, but left alive to handle their accounts and all the money. And he still sells books and stuff like that and copyrights the shit out of anyone who tries to make a video, I guess, on YouTube about it. But yeah, it's still like you can go, there's still a website, I guess, and you can go buy a book about all of it, but there is no joining the group anymore. They said once those 2 original members passed away that were part of the alien society, then no more people can join. So that's a weird cult that says that you can't join anymore. I don't know. Yeah.
It's like the Civil War.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it sounds like the Civil War. Once the South seceded and said, we're not going to come back, and they had to go and suspend that sign of die where they couldn't actually set the sun on Congress. They had to essentially putting a whole halt on the entire government because there's just no way to proceed. Sorry, weird left turn. Go ahead, Walt.
No, that's fine. I was going to say I found that it's called Heaven's Gate, the Cult of Cults, and it is on Max currently. And it definitely gets into all those things, like you said, T and Doe, and how she died in '85, and before that, I mean, they weren't even allowed to see their family. I don't want to spoil it all. Just go watch it. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty wild. I got into that, watched it. It was really good. Coming from the fact that at the time all that was happening, I had been like hugely. I was going to UFO conferences. Is that commercial? What happened?
I don't know.
You didn't hear that? Okay. Sorry. There's somebody else here on this call, or I heard something else. It wasn't Echo. It was another voice. Anyway.
It could be Andrew.
Oh, I didn't realize he was here.
I didn't either until you mentioned and looked and thought, oh, well, I guess it could be.
It could be. Could be. That derailed me. That threw me. Sorry, I don't know what I was even saying. No, really, because
About me?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You.
I shouldn't.
That's what we want to know. What the fuck? Howdy, Andy. How are you, good sir?
I've got something to share, but I was kind of just staying in the background for the time being. But
you might want to hold on to it for a second, Andrew. We got
I just
break
look.
coming up.
We are definitely about to hit that break.
Yeah, I'll try and figure out what's going on, and I'll mute myself 3 different ways if possible.
No worries, bud.
Oh, it was the Heaven's Gate thing. So at the time, I was deeply into remote viewing. Like I was taking courses with a group that out of Florida who was basically the guy like being on, and then this other guy taught the CIA. Well, it was the other guy. And so I'm learning all this from these people, and they are adamant that they're viewing this ship behind this kind of like they are adamant that they see it, and we're not even aware that there's a thing called Heaven's Gate in this world at all until their suicides and they found their bodies and all that hit the news. That's when everybody found out about these people who claimed they were going to go and hop in a ship that was following this comet, blah, blah, blah. And so that kind of broke my mind a little bit that here we are with this group that are claiming to have viewed a fucking ship behind that comet. And then here's this other group of people, unrelated, completely, never had contact with them. Because believe me, that was my first question to them. And like, what the hell? Do you guys know these guys? Because it's a UFO thing? Or what? No, we didn't have a clue, kind of thing. So just an interesting link. Anyway, here comes that commercial, I'm almost certain.
Or not. Any second now. But we do appreciate you guys getting up with us this morning and hanging out. We will at some point reach the end of this first half of the
In a single minute, your body produces 120 to 180 million red blood cells. People ask Google 2.4 million questions, and 25 million Coca-Cola products are consumed. Many of those bottles will end up in a landfill where the World Bank estimates we produce 5 million pounds of garbage. 108 human lives will be lost in this minute, and an adult male will lose 96 million cells. Fortunately, 96 million cells divide, replacing those lost. Speaking of divisions, in the USA, 1.5 people get divorced, while worldwide 116 people will get married, 80,300 people have sex, but only 258 babies will be born. And a fetus is developing neurons at a rate of 250,000 per minute. So it's no wonder that a computer simulation takes 60 quadrillion bytes to simulate a minute. An average of 1.38 micrometers of rain fall around the world, which is 4.7 billion bathtubs of water every minute. And with the storms comes approximately 6,000 bolts of cloud-to-ground lightning hitting the Earth. A 150-pound person expends 1.1 calories of energy per minute while sleeping, while the sun provides us with 83.33 terawatts of energy. The Earth will complete 1,800 kilometers of its 940 million around the sun, moving 1,034 times faster than a cheetah. 70,000 hours of Netflix are watched, 300 hours are uploaded to YouTube, and you can watch this video and subscribe.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio, every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You are listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
RTFR.
Man, that's a throwback. Welcome back to the second half of the first half of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com.
That one made me smile. So I started sharing my screen because I've had this little notification that has popped up on my Google search. Has anyone seen this yet? There at the bottom, you're off the wait list. Turn on AI experiences and search. Then I have options to keep waiting or turn on AI and search. I don't remember putting myself on a wait list, so I'm not sure what wait list I'm no longer on, and I'm not really sure if I want AI fucking around with my searches. Does anyone else? No one else has seen this. I'll take it.
Nope, it's not on mine.
Interesting. Interesting. All right, I'll put it up to a vote. What do you guys want me to do? Fuck up my shit or go like I am?
I'd keep waiting just
Put it in
because it's
chat.
an option. But that's me.
Oh, but think of all the things it could find for me. You could find all the old flat earth stuff that's hidden away, and right?
It'd be worth a shot, I
Wouldn't that
suppose.
be?
I'm sure Google's going to make that super accessible.
I mean, but aren't you able to train AI? Aren't you able to teach it how to do what you want it to? How to like put on all those code words that make it search through stuff it's not supposed to search through and all those things? Isn't that how it works? Isn't this how they suck you in? All right, I'm gonna keep waiting for now. Let me see what y'all are saying in chat. Nobody cares.
Do you guys ever remember hearing about a 25-foot deep crater that Starship blew into the launch pad when it first took off in April?
And apparently ruined cars and all that stuff. I saw that story recently, but I don't remember that being part of the.
Yeah, I cannot
scenario.
find one video, anything, news article, nothing about a 25-foot crater. I can't find a picture of this crater that Starship supposedly made, 25-foot deep crater. I just saw this article because SpaceX is spraying thousands of gallons of water for Starship to make a, what do they call it? They faced heavy criticism for launching its fully integrated Starship launch system in April without a water deluge system in place. So you're supposed to have a water deluge system in place, I guess.
Business Insider, I have SpaceX's Starship rocket left crater in launch pad, dented tanks. Just search blast crater Starship.
You see a picture of it?
I looked on YouTube. Yeah, is there a picture of it?
Let me see.
Because they mentioned that it happened here, but they don't show a picture at all.
There is
of
a
this
picture.
25-foot crater.
Stand by.
That's a big crater. Swimming pools deep.
And yet, yet, the moon landing.
No craters involved at all.
No craters around there.
Good blown
Magic
out.
stardust, rainbow sprinkles for takeoff. Anyway, what's up, Brian?
Yeah, I just came across that article. I was like, what? I don't remember ever hearing about a 25-foot crater left.
I saw the story you're talking about is my first, and I was like, what? I don't remember any of that. Now, is that was on takeoff, right? Not on the fake reverse CGI landing.
No, that was definitely on takeoff.
Yeah. So apparently our buddy Logan there in chat, Logan Cook, saw the same story this morning that I woke up to. Cannibal coronal mass ejection on collision course with Earth. Oh, if I only had reverb. Wow, but I do have echo. How did I get that going?
That was probably me trying to share my screen. It was just doing a little too resource heavy, causing some issues, I think.
Okay. Oh, you have pictures? Let me go back.
Well, it's down, but it is up on YouTube. If you want to see the picture of the blast crater over there at businessinsider.com.
You're making this very complicated. I'll try.
All right, so I am off mute right now, and I hope I'm not
No.
any sort of a reverb.
You are still muted, Andrew. You're still muted.
What the fuck? Stop fucking with me. Come on, Walt.
Andrew's tired. Don't be picking on him.
I'm tired. I've been awake for like 22 hours or something. I don't know. But it's okay, because I have 3 days off in a row, so
nice.
Good to go. But yes, I am very intrigued by what you're talking about, Zach, because I completely believe in NASA now. I don't know like how I didn't believe in this before. Like, you sold me on it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Oh no, I get it now. You convinced me. It was a news article, and we saw it on TV.
Well, you have heard, what's his name, Buzz? I think he was on Conan O'Brien, and Conan was like, yeah, my mom and dad got me up like 3 a.m. to go watch you land on the moon. He's like, I watched it on TV, and Buzz is like, no, you didn't. That way, he said it was animated, something like that,
or cartoon or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, no, we just did that for the TV. That wasn't really us.
And didn't they say something about how it was being broadcasted only from Australia or something?
They're the only ones who allegedly got to see it live.
Yeah, everybody else it was a recording.
Everybody else called a recording.
Put on a projector.
And that's also where a lady actually saw a Coke bottle roll across the set. It's on the live one in Australia. Allegedly.
Why, of all the places they would claim, would it be in Australia? I don't know. It's just very, very suspicious.
Well, interestingly enough, JP in chat has asked, have we seen Fly Files? And I'm assuming referring to the newest one that just dropped about 8 hours ago, I guess. It's going to be about the moon landing. And I have to say, I'm a little excited to see where he takes it, because I will give AJ, I think he believes a lot more than he wants to let on, on things. He always gives it both sides of the picture, and then he's got Hecklefish there, who I think is really saying the stuff he thinks. I think that's why he created that character. Anyway, if you're not familiar with Y-Files, definitely go sub and check it out. And I always miss them, because going into Thursday night and stuff, it's usually an early to bed night for me for this show. So I watch Y-Files that are new over the weekend. I can't wait to watch it. Probably catch it between shows today, actually. trying to get a link for you guys to drop. Give me a second here.
While you're doing that, I
Visiting.
found this article. It made me think about, all this weird stuff we'll find, and we think, well, no humans would have done that. How did that happen, right? What or why did the humans do that? What was purpose? What was the reason? Well, out in Yosemite, rangers are telling hikers to knock down the rock cairns, which is, rocks stacked on top of each other. If you just go look at Yosemite rock cairns, DAIRNS, there's like hundreds of them in this picture. There's just hundreds and hundreds of them where people decide to stop and stack some rocks and then continue on their journey. But it makes you realize that, yes, people will do things for no reason whatsoever, and they'll mimic things that others have done for no reason whatsoever.
No, Zach, there is a reason. It's for social media.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's no mechanical purpose for this to be done. Not like it's helping something, or it's a form of art almost.
I was going to say I think of it as art. I know there's 3 of them on Bell Rock in Sedona, Arizona, that my mother and I put there back in 2010.
That's awesome.
I doubt they're still there. I did 3 of them.
But yeah, when we see things throughout history, and they're like, well, why would anybody do that? Why would any group well, why did we do this? It's just something that people do sometimes. Maybe there is no reason for some of these mysteries that we find. Maybe it's just art.
Well, okay, so what about the actual rock formations that are incredibly large that people cannot lift unless they have like a crane or something, that have been seen in some places that are in really weird place without any rocks around them? What about those?
What, like Stonehenge?
Well, no,
really
I'm talking.
you gotta be epic than that, man.
No, more incredible than Stonehenge. Like, there are rock formations where they're like stacked on top of each other, but they're out in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of a desert or something.
Giants?
No, they're not giants. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying maybe giants did it.
Right? They were bored one day on the trail and decided to drop. Apparently, Rizzo keeps sitting on and fighting on the camera button. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing that. She is doing
Someone
that.
back me up on this one. I'm sorry. I can't.
No, I know what you're talking about. Like giant versions of what we're speaking of out in the desert and how they get there. Oh, that's wind. Wind did that. Come on, Andrew. Have you heard the geologist explain it away?
I've tried to.
Have you seen those big giant rocks out in the desert? They finally figured out how they move.
Wind?
Those rocks that leave the well, it's not just wind, it's actually the water. It'll rain and then it freezes and makes like a foot of water that turns into an ice sheet, and then the whole ice sheet kind of shifts down the mountain and drags the rocks with it.
Mm.
No, they've got it on video. They've got this on video watching it happen. They spent like...
But they also got video of the fucking wind blowing the rocks, I thought, too, from like years ago. The rocks in the desert that moved are the ones I'm talking about. I don't know where
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, too. Yeah, they figured out, though, that they couldn't put on its own just by the wind. It needed that sheet of ice there for the wind to be able to actually move the rocks. Because those rocks are enormous. They're not like small rocks. They're big. Yeah, the walking stones on a plane. But yeah, they could be wrong, but they were out there for like forever. Over a year, I think they were out there with sensors and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Once they'd see one move, the sensor would kick off the camera and this and that. And they figured that big sheet of ice was over here. And then all of a sudden, a few days later, it was over here and all the rocks had moved. And I mean, they could be wrong, but it seemed like it pretty convinced me that they figured out how this is taking place naturally. And it's not, little dwarves running out there when nobody's looking and pushing them. Pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't really know much about those, but my parents were driving me and my brother and sister through like Northern California a long time ago, and there was like this huge rock that looked like it shouldn't even be balancing the way that it is like stacked on top of another rock, and it's got like graffiti all over it, and some people have tried to push it over in the past, and they can't really do it, but it's still stacked there, and it's like right next to the freeway. And you can look it up. It's all over the internet. There's tons and tons of these things.
Oh yeah.
And then all these different people are going for nature walks, and they're jumping like stones out of the
I'm trying
pond
to
or
share
whatever.
as hard as I can here, but Rizzo is making it very difficult to do. So yeah, here's images. How many of these are real and how many of these are computer generated? I really can't tell. I see a few that I'm not believing are real, but I know some of these, like that one I've seen before. That looks fake. I've seen this one. I've seen this one. I keep hearing it. Oh man. Anyway, yeah. Seen here. There's 10 of them around the world. When did that, Andrew?
I certainly hope I'm not causing the echo, but I'm going to double check my audio settings and make sure.
Is it me? I'll mute up. Let me know if it stops, and then I'll just jump out and jump back in if it is.
I don't know. It was just like, yeah, it was just like when I was talking, I kept hearing an
go
echo. Now I'm not hearing it. So there's no telling. This Skype call, guys. I mean, come on.
So they're saying 2 supermoons are coming to our skies in August.
Even a blue one, which is twice in a month kind of thing.
Well, that's exciting. I guess.
I'm fighting with my cat, not fighting with her, but just trying to get her.
I panicked, thought my
out of my
internet
area
died.
here. I'm sorry?
I panicked, thought my internet died.
Oh, no, I'm actually trying to find a real stream of these rocks. Every time I go to look at it, these are 10 of the balancing rocks, I find ones that are not real, that are artwork, obviously. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's wild.
Yeah, the rock formations are pretty cool if they're real. And if someone's going to go out into nature, like, and just pick up some rocks and do it, fucking go for it. It's the big deal. But, I don't know.
Well, I guess I'll stop trying to show pictures on the radio program. But yeah,
some of these, like Walt, you were saying, some of them are definitely fake. You can tell real quick. It's like symmetrically and like it's impossible to do that.
More giants. What, sir?
I don't know what happened. I got kicked out of Skype.
It could have been your thing, your issue, making all the weirdness, maybe. I don't know. What, my baby? Goodness.
So how do we have 2 supermoons? I don't know. I left the article. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, that's the full moon when it's at its closest, whatever, right?
Yeah, but it's saying we're having 2 of them this month.
Right,
2
which
super
means
moons.
one of them's a blue moon.
Yeah, but that's not a
That's
super moon.
that's how spinning spaceballs work, Zachary. Now come on.
So how often does a supermoon naturally occur?
Once a year,
To
it's supposed to.
That's wow. Okay. Huh.
Okay, so August will wrap up with an appearance of a blue moon on Wednesday, August 30th, which just means 2 full moons in the same month. This moon is not only significant for being the second full moon of the month, a blue moon, but is also classified as a supermoon. Okay, so if the second one is the supermoon, then the first one obviously isn't the supermoon. You can only have one super moon a year.
We had 3 days of full moon last month, as you'll recall. Last month's full moon lasted for 3 days.
Like it would in a spinning space fair. Come on, you guys seem to be doubting this model because of your like things like that, like logic. You're putting logic and reason behind math. That's not how it works.
Okay, so
oh wait, no, it says supermoons happen 3 to 4 times per year. What? Okay, that's what it says later in the article, but earlier in the article, okay, a supermoon takes place when a full moon's orbit brings it closest to our planet. So how is the moon closest to the planet 4 different times throughout the year?
Because its closest is 28.677833 miles, and then that's the same distance it gets to, and that's it. That's as close as it can get, man. Come on, spinning space pair. Come on.
Where did the term "once in a blue moon" come from? I've never seen a blue moon. I've seen like a blood moon, and
It's not related to color. It's related to the second full moon within a month is a blue moon.
well, why is there a color associated with it though?
Ah, there's the rub.
Why indeed?
Why indeed? Why indeed?
And I thought a blue moon, as far as I knew, was every 3 months, roughly.
That's about right. It says it happens 3 times a year somehow, even though it says a supermoon is when the moon is at its closest. But I don't get it.
So,
just look for the super tide, don't you know?
So, right. The term blue moon originated from the 16th century expression, the moon is blue, meaning something that was impossible. For 2 years following the eruption of the Krakatoa volcano in Indonesia in 1883, people around the world reported seeing strangely colored sunsets and a moon that appeared blue. That is what I just read from Britannica. A pretty reputable source before the internet. Now I can't say that. I don't know. That's what it says there. Now over here in the Smithsonian bullshit article. Oh wow, that's a nice picture of the moon. It look. It is not a well-written article, so I'm having a hard time finding every 29. No, that's not it. But why do we call it blue? It's really a really badly written article.
So not
yeah, it goes
by
back
AI,
to the
probably?
Krakatoa. It goes, yeah, no, it's really definitely. It's going back to the Krakatoa explanation too. So that's pretty much what I'm getting. I don't know how they turn the phrase that, hey, a fucking volcano erupted, now the moon's blue, into every now and again we have a second full moon in the month. It really never tells you that anywhere in this article and that article. I'm over it. So apparently, some think it was a term that was a French word for something. Oh, what? In English language. Da, 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 da.
Just want to know who made up the super moon or the blue moon.
Yeah, it's not really happening. Oh, wait. Theories abound as to why, blah, blah, blah. Some say the third moon. Third moon? What? Farmer's Almanac, published in May, began calling the third full moon in the season was for a blue moon. Okay.
All right, Alexander Lightwater in
Move
chat.
on.
Just set it straight. Of the two full moons, August 1st, distance is 363,815 kilometers, and the 31st is 363,667 kilometers. So one of those is closer than the other. So one of them is a supermoon. The other one obviously is not. But we don't have two supermoons in August.
Zach, this is 2023. It's more of like a supermoon.
You're going to have to mute up between talking, Andrew. You've got a lot of background noise.
Really? What the fuck is going on?
Sounds like you switched microphones at some point.
I'll have to. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I was just going to let Zach know that this is 2023, and it's more like a supermoon spectrum disorder. You can't necessarily exclude one full moon during the month and not the other, because technically at that spectrum, they're both.
It's identifying as a supermoon.
Super
I was
blue
going to
moon
say, I bet
harvest.
it's an identifier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so horrible. Now they're putting their
My name is Ella.
drink.
I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
You don't hear them talking about COVID. COVID. To be specific, COVID-19. That name gets further and further away from China as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Testing is a double-edged sword. They test and they test. People don't know what's going on. You got this, they got this. You do testing. You're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down. You know what? We got another one over here. The young man's 10 years old. He's got the sniffles. That's a case. That's a case. Thank you, China. Send us the plane. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Despite the fact that the FBI have done a phenomenal job. He lied. He lied. I say hundreds of thousands of lives. There was only one person that died. I ran for politics once, then I became president. You're so lucky I'm president. There's a limit to what we can achieve. I stand before you today to declare Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Kung flu. The Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu. The Chinese virus. If I lose an election over that, You know what? This country's in big trouble. Big trouble.
What the fuck?
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworks with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all up.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, that one didn't finish off right. Where'd my bubble gum go? Why did I cut that off?
That was a good flashback, though. I hadn't heard that one in a minute.
No, it hasn't. Well, you know.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right. Right. If you guys are having trouble hearing me, I now have a cat upon me, and now I have to lay back for her comfort.
Sound good.
Good.
What do the
We were
kiddies
rudely
think
interrupted
about flat
by-
Earth?
I'm sure they are down with it. They always land on their feet. Hello, buddy. I have a second cat now climbing up my leg. Hey. Hi.
I mean, if
Anyway.
animals did know what we were saying and thinking and thought and, saw the globe, they're probably thinking, oh my God, my pet is retarded.
Right.
They're probably talking to each other. You see that? What they think that they're living on? Oh, these poor humans. How dumb.
They lost their claws. They lost their fur. Now they've lost their mind.
And that goes into something I heard about cats, that humans don't own cats. Cats own the humans.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. I am well taken care of. I definitely don't own my home anymore.
I don't know if, because you've heard about flat Earth politicians now, right? Politicians who have mentioned flat Earth, or yeah, it's happening. So here's something out of the Senate. The Senate puts NASA on notice over a Mars mission. I haven't seen this happen in quite a while. The Senate is offering just $300 million in funding for 2024 for the Mars mission, less than a third of the $949 million budget request from NASA. And they're saying it's because they don't believe they can do it. It would rescind the $300 million allocated for the mission if the agency cannot guarantee that overall cost will not exceed $5.3 billion. They estimated it would be $4.4 billion, but now we're estimating it to be somewhere around $9 billion to do it. So I like that they're actually saying, okay, you need to show us something. I mean, we know that it's all nonsense, but this is how you start. You say, okay, we need results. We're going to start treating you kind of like a private business where you don't get results. We're not going to just sit here and throw billions and billions of dollars at you to do nothing. We're not going to keep doing this. This is the first I've seen this. Besides, I mean, right after 2001, after the World Trade Centers and all that, they cut NASA's budget, of course, because we needed more defense and for national security. Rah, rah, rah. But that's over 20 years ago. And yeah, they've been getting paid a lot every year, getting added on. But this is like they're actually taking money away from NASA. So I'm all for it. I hope we get some more people in politics that at least have half a brain. I've been thinking about this. I mean, how else would you go about doing it?
Good.
You would have to get people in those seats to vote all this stuff down. I mean, the only way we're going to get rid of NASA is through the government. That's the only way that we're going to do it. But if we get enough awake people in these seats of office, you think we could get rid of NASA completely? I don't know if we could go that far, but maybe just give them, cut their funding by 10-fold. That's still way too much money to be just throwing out the window, but it'd be a start.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen like the Senate getting on NASA like that. I've seen them, grilling them like, well, where's your next? Well, our next mission, we want to go to Mars and this and that. And it's like, no, next. He's like, what do you mean? The one right after this? Well, that's what next means. Yeah, he was like grilling the guy, the head of NASA. I forget who he was at the time. Eric Holder, maybe? Yeah, he was getting grilled hard. But nothing came of it. They didn't cut their funding or anything like that. It was more of a publicity stunt. But when you see their actual funding starting to be cut, I just see us walking down the right path at least. What do you guys think? Or you think this is just a show as well?
Distraction. Oh.
Okay, NASA gets most of their money from taxpayers, if not all of it, right? But what about SpaceX? I don't know how they get a lot of their funding.
Over
is it private
$400 million a year from federal funding.
SpaceX?
Yes. And then they get paid outrageous amounts of money for taking in, well, they haven't even done that, taking astronauts up there. Haven't they taken things to the space station, though? Like dropped off whatever equipment and stuff.
I think they've done supply missions and shit like that, yeah.
Yeah. So they get paid out the wazoo government money for doing work for the government. But no, most of SpaceX, like all their telemetry data and this and that and all of their computing goes through NASA stuff. It's not like they have their own system that they all go through the same system. All the agencies do, not just NASA, but all the world space agencies all go through the same stuff. It's crazy. But you would have to do that, or else you're going to start getting different numbers and different distances. And so they really got it locked down. It's very compartmentalized. But yeah, I'm all for, let's take the money out of NASA's hands. SpaceX. Ugh.
Yeah, and I heard this a long time ago. It was from Eric Dubay. It was talking about what NASA gets every single day from the U.S. taxpayers. And at the time, it was like 7 cents per day. And Eric Dubay said, that's fine. I'll go ahead and take my 7 cents a day back. I was like, damn, that's not very much, but I agree. I'll take my 7 cents a day back. But now it's probably like 14 cents a day. And yep, still, I'll take my 14 cents. Yep, no problem.
Yeah, when you take 14 cents and multiply it by 300 million or 100 million, 180 million, whatever, however many people can work in the country are of age,
and
it adds up. Yeah, that's those number games I like to play. Well, it's only 7 cents a person. Yeah, no, it's
7 cents
such
on
a
every friggin'
huge hole.
dollar.
7 cents on the dollar. Are we still at 7 cents for the federal tax?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I heard postage is supposed to be going up again.
Of course.
Or just did. Something like that.
I think it just did, yeah. I know I just paid my sales tax on my car and got my license plates. So it's always been kind of a sore subject. Even in my youth as a young man, I wouldn't want to necessarily keep up on my registration. Then the police would pull me over and they'd give me a ticket, make me sign it and promise to appear in court, to which I would promptly fuck off and not appear. They're just like, oh, well, screw you. How about a bench warrant? And the cops would come and pick me up and arrest me, and I'd spend my time in jail, and then I'd come out and I'd sort of start a whole cycle. And I spent 10, 15 years kind of trapped in this cycle with my parents, giving me money, trying to bail me out, and me just not caring and starting the cycle all over again until I just got frustrated and stopped. But it's always been sort of this post-traumatic thing of registering my vehicle, because I've been down that road so many times that just anything relating to it gives me a little PTSD. So I had a voucher for a credit for my sales tax because I paid sales tax on my other car that got totaled. So they sort of carry that tax credit over. So I don't have to pay taxes on the cost of the vehicle that was totaled out because I already paid taxes on that. And the final price for that credit was like $9,000. It was decent. It was probably a third maybe of, if not more, of the cost of my taxes. Well, anyway, I get down there to the office to pay my taxes, and I've got my stack of paperwork to get everything done. This is actually to get my license. So I handed over the counter to the lady at the DMV, and she's going through. She's like, oh, and she's pulling out all the stuff she needs, hands me back the paperwork that she doesn't need. And on we go. She comes up to the grand total, which is like $1,900. And my heart stops. I said, oh, fuck. Like I was prepared to maybe hit 17. God forbid. I didn't really, it's hard to calculate because you're doing state and local taxes, and it's really hard to find an accurate calculator to get all that done accurately. But when she said 19, again, I just like panicked. I was a deer in the headlights and froze. So I'm just busting out fucking credit cards and cash and debit cards trying to think, look, I can probably come up with this $1,900. No problem. So we're just running shit. Nope, that was too much. Rerun it with the lower amount. There we go. Okay, now run this card. Nope, that was too much. Rerun it with the lower amount. And I finally get them like, all right, here's $5 to cover that last little bit. I've maxed everything else out. I have $2 left to pay so I can get my God blessed license plates, give her the $5, get my change. And I'm looking I said, wait a minute, did you use the voucher for the tax credit? And she just sort of looks at me. So I go through my paperwork that she handed back. And of course, there's 2 copies because I'm a little anal retentive when it comes to money owed to me. And I hand it to her. She's like, oh, so she has to go back and talk to her boss. And it was this whole thing where they didn't want to try to cancel the transaction and rerun it and fear that they might not credit my credit cards in time. And it's just going to be this whole double billing type situation. So now I've got to go to the state, mail them in a letter requesting a refund on the taxes I paid because of this totaled out car. And it's a whole fucking thing. And I've already forgotten where I was going with this, other than dealing with the state gives me PTSD.
All right. Well, Josh, I got a question for you then. How much does it cost for you to register your current car?
It cost me $1,900. It's for a 2-year registration, so I don't have to go back again until 2025. But yeah, I bought the car in, was that May, I guess? April or May. And I guess there was like $75 worth of late fees because I was a few months overdue with actual registration.
Okay, like per month, like if you weren't dealing with a fucked up situation, what would that car cost to register?
What do you mean per month? I mean, there's not a...
I'm sorry, per year.
I mean, I can only tell you what I paid, not what I might have paid had things been differently.
Because like, if you were to ask like everybody else right now in the chat and everything else, like in California, I've got a 2010 Toyota Matrix. It cost me $167 per year. But if I go to another state like Virginia, it costs me like $35 or something like that.
Like personal property taxes, you mean?
Well, it's
because those are the yearly taxes that I have to pay in Missouri. Like my sales tax, when I register my vehicle for the first time, I pay sales tax after I buy it, and then I register it. Then I just have to go back and make sure it's registered either every year or every other year. That registration costs like $12.50. But because it's my car and in my name, and it has the value assessed to it by the county assessor, then the county wants to come back and charge me a tax for owning the car, quote unquote.
See, that's
owning
bullshit.
The car. Oh yeah, it is. There's some states that don't even have a personal property tax, but yeah, anything that's like considered a personal real property, the state comes along and taxes you for it, assesses a value to it, and then taxes you on that assessed value, whether it's your home or your car or whatever personal real assets you have. And I've not owned this car long enough, I guess, really to get a good judge as to what my yearly personal property tax is, but it's probably a couple $100.
I want to find out who created taxes and then like start taxing them. Like, fuck you.
I'm not necessarily against taxes.
Well, okay.
certain taxes I'm okay with.
Right.
But then there's the one like taxing wages is bullshit. They make enough money in taxes off taxing goods and services and things like that. They have no need to tax your wages. And that's not even a taxable source of income. Income, if you go to Black's dictionary and actually look up what income is, it's when you take your resources, put them into something, and then get a return, a positive return on that. That's income. Not when you go work for somebody and they give you, a wage for a service you provided. That's totally different than taking your own money and putting it into something and then getting extra money back, a return on that. That is taxable income. Your wages, now they changed it. It used to be an income tax. Now it's a wage tax also. It says income and then wages, this, that, blah, 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 etc. So yeah, we never should have been taxed on our income, ever.
This is where they take your, at least here in the U.S., they'll take your social security number and they just pull out the dashes and they just squeeze all the numbers together into one large numeral. And that's what's known as an EID, an employee identification number. And it's because you're considered an employee of the federal government that those are considered, I guess, taxable wages.
Okay, here's the problem I have with taxes. And I do agree on some aspect, that, yeah, okay, taxes can be used for good purposes like public services and things like that. But let's just go ahead and say, hey, Josh, you hired me to come by and do a job for you. Doesn't matter what job it is. And you paid me $1,000. Now, what I'm supposed to do is tell the IRS that I made a certain amount of money. And then some of that money is basically extortion. They deserve some of that money. Get the fuck out of here.
And well, that's my issues with taxes and the way it's done here. Because the state has that monopoly on violence, they can just make a baseless claim that somebody owes them something and enforce it with the barrel of a gun or through legal liens and levies.
Yeah.
Where they just say,
extortion.
hey, you know what? Turns out we decided you messed up on some taxes a couple of decades ago and you owe us like $3,000. Okay? No? Well, we're just going to go ahead and collect on this debt because we're a debt collector. And rather than trying to put a lien on anything that you own, if by chance you do sell it, we'll make sure you pay the taxes first. No. We're going to go ahead and make a levy against the funds in your bank account or on your whatever checks you have incoming. And we'll just double dip. We'll take our cut first because that's how we want to do it. Thank you so much. And they're the only creditor that can actually do that. Go ahead.
Well, I guess you can. You can take them to court and try to go in there legally and, use all these old. I mean, it's still on the books that this is not legal, really. But it's all up to that judge's discretion as well. You could be correct, and the judge can still find in favor of the corporation that he is working for. So it's not as bad as judges and lawyers owning stock in prisons. That should be illegal. Good luck getting that overturned, right? But it's kind of like the same type of thing. There's people that say you owe them money, and then here's a guy that works for these people who is now going to determine whether or not you need to pay the people or not. Well, of course you're going to end up paying them. That judge is going to be like, well, I'm part of the government, and the government says that you owe this, so yeah, you owe them. Whether you're right or wrong.
Speaking in regards to what you were saying there, Zach, with prisons, when I was doing all these different prison jobs and stuff, all of the uniforms and not everything, but a lot of it would say Bob Barker Industries, like on the tags. And a lot of people thought it was Bob Barker from the game show, but it wasn't. But it's the fact that it's like one company that's selling all of the prisons, all of their uniforms, toothpaste, like the shoes. It's called the Prison Industrial Complex. The same thing happens with the military.
Billions of dollars. Billions.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
So just think about that. So this judge has a lot of his savings put into this, the stock of this company. And they need to keep the prisons filled in order for that stock to do well.
Well, it's about 70% fill rate, and that's because
yeah, but whatever. Regardless, they need to be filled so much. So if they're below quota, what do you think that judge is going to say about the next person's guilt or innocence? There's a huge, huge conflict of interest here. When the judge can make more money for saying that someone is guilty rather than innocent, how is this even still being allowed? How is this? We shouldn't even be talking about this. It should not even be taking place. I don't get it. But there's a lot of people out there that, haven't heard this information. They're very good at distracting us with our sports teams and our Oprah Winfrey sex dungeons and all this other stuff. I don't know about sex dungeons, but if you haven't heard, Oprah's been getting railed on lately by people like Jamie Foxx and Dave Chappelle, and yeah.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on in Hollywood from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, didn't
Names have
Jamie
been
Foxx
dropped.
have something really bad happen to him recently? I'm not gonna say what it was, but something very bad happened to him.
Yeah, he wanted to work, and in order to work, and for some of these places, they had to have something done to them that a lot of people had to have done to them back in 2021, if you don't remember what I'm talking about. But yeah, and so instead of turning it down like Ice Cube did, and he just said no to the $9 million for that movie because he's not doing that, Jamie Foxx decided to do it, and I guess there were implications. And now he's coming out and saying all kinds of stuff. Now he's just, I think he's pissed. I would be.
Oh fuck yeah! There's no amount of money that you could give me that would make me have to do what he did.
I mean, for a normal person, they're probably thinking, it's 50-50 whether or not I'm getting a, maybe a placebo or something like that. But for him, you would just think, it'll be all right. They're gonna give me one that's, I'm Jamie Foxx. Maybe that was running through his mind and was one of the reasons. I don't know. But yeah, he definitely is speaking out about multiple things now. Yeah, Ice Cube said he's a clone. Yeah.
What?
No, I don't know. I didn't hear that. I'm the in chat. Put that in chat.
Oh, I'm not.
But yeah, no, Ice Cube's been going off on this too.
Yeah, I saw that too, though. I saw that same thing go by.
But at least we got break music this time. That's always nice. Little heads up before Ella jumps in my ear. Stick around. We got one more segment of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. We will be right back for the fourth and final right after these brief messages by who knows who. Be right back.
Make a list of the things you want. And on my list of things, now I put everything, little as well as major things. Doesn't matter how small it is, it goes on my list. And the reason is, part of the fun of having a list is checking it off. Boy, at the end of the day, if you can go, got it, whatever it is, right? You get into the habit. So load up your list, the things you want. Now, when you check off something major, celebrate. That's an important point to make. Celebrate your achievements. Live it up. Have a party when you reach something you've worked for a while. See, we all grow from two experiences. One is called the pain of losing. The other one is called the joy of winning. We need both of them. Amplify them as much as you can, which also means make losing painful. If you set up something, fooled around, didn't get it, put it on yourself. On the other side, if you did get it, congratulate yourself. Self-congratulations is a sign of maturity.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? IOLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to iolife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
True initiation is an inward journey. It's a spiritual path that is totally inward. It has nothing to do with anything external to you.
I want to determine if the grand architect is indeed what I believe it to be, which is the artificial intelligence.
The initiatory path is one of self-discovery and self-revealing. It's not a journey that someone can hold your hand through.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the steps of initiation. Remember, you are divinity.
Step Beyond the Veil with Chris and Sherry Gio. Fridays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
Good morning, world!
Oh yeah, that's what that one was. Welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks. Right here, right now. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday post. I see you there in chat. At least you made it back for one segment and only a little bit of the commercials.
Right. Well, the Crusades are happening. If you're a sky watcher, then definitely it is going on now, and it'll go through August, like around the end of August. I can't really tell everybody where to find it. We all live in so many different areas. Just go Google it, look it up. You'll figure it out. But definitely, I plan on pulling out the scope, taking it out in some dark regions, if I can find one anymore, and seeing what I can see. That
Speaking
being
on that,
said,
Walt, you can go to darkskyfinder.com.
yes,
Yeah, and you can go there and find the best places to do astrophotography.
Yep, good link up. Thank you, sir. So it while you're out there, keep your eyes peeled and maybe bring an umbrella. Apparently, a few days ago, let's see, this was 3 days ago, a woman in France was hit by a suspected meteorite while drinking coffee on her porch.
Right.
She lived,
Sitting
I bet,
on,
right? She lived?
Yeah, she was sitting on her porch, heard a loud bang on the roof, and a pebble-sized rock pinged into her chest.
Oh, my chest! That must have been a meteorite.
Right. So yeah. Now that was 3 days ago. In that 3 days, now there's a story that hit just 2 days ago, yesterday. Picture, clearly not a meteorite. Expert says this type of rock definitely is no way this rock was formed in space and flew through blah blah blah. So yeah, it's already been debunked that it wasn't a meteorite. Which I mean, okay. Falling to Earth at like, what is it, 35,000 miles an hour? I can't remember, but it's something ridiculous like that.
It says 138, I thought I read.
Oh, well, there you go. It's freaking fast. How about that?
I mean, even 138 seems slow, but I thought that's what I read in that article was.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just caught the last part as I was skimming through here. Well, okay, so that got me to looking, as you do, about the thing. I knew about the lady in Alabama, that allegedly was hit. And so I had to go look into that story again. And as with this ping in her chest, okay, so this rock in 1954 that hit Ann Hodges, is that her last name, I believe? Yeah, Ann Hodges. So allegedly, she's napping on her couch when a softball-sized hunk of rock broke through her ceiling. Okay, so let's stop there. softball-sized rock falls hard enough to go through your ceiling. Then it bounced off her radio. And I get it that in the 50s, the radios were a lot larger probably than the ones we're familiar with today. I get that.
It was the size of a couch.
Right. But still in all, if it went through your fucking ceiling, it did dissipate a bit of energy, but it's traveling pretty damn fast. And yet it broke through the ceiling, bounced off the radio, and hit her thigh, leaving a big old bruise. And there's a photo here I'll share, everybody.
Oh, my thigh. That must have been a
A
meteorite.
bruise? That's it?
That's what I'm trying to explain here, Andrew. That's what I'm trying to say. These things are traveling. That's her bruise from her radio bouncing.
That's her thigh? Where's her hip? In her freaking armpit? Jesus.
I don't know. That's what the story said. I'm thinking that's more my hip area as well. So anyway, so that got me looking a little deeper. Because I knew, according to a story we had read, a few months back, maybe a year or two back, there were not many people who've ever had encounters. Well, apparently, looking through this, do you guys remember this Russian thing in 2013? The Chelyabinsk, Russia, 2013.
Yeah,
House.
The big meteor that went over, or was that later?
Okay. Yeah, that's later. This one exploded. A house-sized asteroid exploded over the city and injured 1,200 to 1,400 people.
Oh yeah, that one that was caught allegedly on police dash cams or something like that.
No, that's the one recently. That's the recent one that Zack's talking about. Yeah, that was the one caught on a bunch of dash cams. No, this was back in 2013. I know the one y'all are talking about not too long ago.
This is before Flat Earth. Yeah,
this is before Flat Earth. This is when I would have still been paying attention, though.
One. But yeah, I was a huge space nerd back then.
I was a space nerd, dude. That's what I'm saying. And we actually at one of the last UFO conferences, right? Me too. At one of the last UFO conferences, one of the retired generals that would come and talk to us pretty regular said, "Yeah, guys, I know we're all UFO, but before anything is going to be released or heard or anything about, they're going to distract the hell out of us with meteorites, asteroids. That's going to be the next big push. And within a few years, Armageddon came out. What was the other one with Spider-Man in it? The other one with the asteroid that actually did hit Earth and all that. Deep Impact, thank you. And it was like, wow, I was steadily looking into the news for these stories about this kind of thing because they were going to be distracting us with it to keep us from seeing the UFO stuff is what I was well aware of. And in 2013, I still would have been aware of it enough to go, what? This happened? But yeah, I don't remember that story at all. But apparently even back in, 1868, they had another one explode over Warsaw, Poland. 100,000 stones fell from the sky. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. But I was just blown away by the Russia 2013. More recent enough for me to be aware of it, and yet had never heard at all about this.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up. And recently, just on Strange World, Karen was talking to Mark, and she had this theory that she was presenting that I know she didn't come up with, she never claimed it, about how these meteorites and meteors could possibly be formed. I'm not sure if you guys heard that or not. It's a very interesting theory.
Well, have you seen those spheres, those metal spheres that have like a little hole in it? And sometimes a big, like, not wire, but like a cable, a bunch of wires all woven together, like one of them coming out of it. But they're like, I don't know, maybe 2 feet in diameter, big metal spheres that they find. Well, you've had to have seen those.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was playing with the cat. She was climbing back up my chest again. I couldn't get to my mute button. Yeah, so has that come back up again? Or?
Well, no, I'm just saying I mean, we don't know what meteors are or what these things that do hit the Earth occasionally. I've never seen one. I've never seen something fall out of the sky and impact the Earth. Not saying it doesn't happen.
Well, if it's the size of a softball and it breaks through your roof and bounces off of a radio, it's just going to bruise your leg real bad. You'll be fine.
Hey, Jonathan.
You did get muted. You were having some.
Yeah, you were like making robot noises come over the air, so I muted you up real quick when I realized that's what it was. Sorry, my friend. You may be having some. Right, exactly.
You talking to me?
We are.
Good
morning.
Apparently, your audio program hadn't kicked in quite yet.
on
powering up this morning.
I didn't kick in just yet. I saw you guys come up at 5 a.m., but I was just like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel at 5 a.m.
Josh, how's that? Real quick question. So the 1 hour thing could work better? Because I was thinking about that.
Yeah, if you could push everything back 1 hour, that
to what, 5:30?
Well, you're starting what? You do 6:30 to 8:30 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 7:30 to 9:30.
Oh, shifted 2 hours over. Okay.
Well,
okay,
it's a 2 hour show, so you're just shifting that 2 hour show back 1 hour.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, 1 hour. Oh, I see what you're saying. Surely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then that would be ideal.
That actually feels better. I'm telling you something, like energetically, everything felt wrong and felt off. And I was just like, something's off. I don't know what and I was telling Angel, I was like, this doesn't feel, so that's why I was in a funk.
How was last night?
Now, energetically, this feels right. So thank you.
How'd last night go? Did that go well?
What's that?
Did you go last night?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you did not go live last night?
No.
Gotcha.
No, he was, we'll be into a broadcast like for whatever amount of minutes, and then all of a sudden the wolves start barking or something on his end, and I'm like, dude, you can't have wolves in the background.
Well, you can just make them in the very distant, make it a nice ambience type of sound effect.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But not when you're like standing in the middle of a kennel, whatever. So, how you guys doing, boy? How was your week?
It was good. Went and picked up a bunny rabbit last night, so we're now 3 bunnies deep around here. You pretty much have no more living room. It's pretty well exercise pens with bunnies in.
Well, I do gotta say something to Jonathan.
Yes,
I did actually finally listen to some archaic videos or streams that you did with Mark Sargent that you were on in the very beginning, and that's some pretty good stuff to go back and listen to. So,
thanks. We had fun back then.
Yeah, life has been pretty good this week, living in the non-recession United States.
Right.
Don't you like how they just do that? They just say, well, we're just going to change the definition of what recession means. So we're not in a recession right now. You think they did this during the Depression? I mean, what is it? 2 quarters of negative GDP growth is a recession by definition. And once we did that, well, it's not really a recession.
Well, I heard something about they're ready to lower the gas prices or something. Try to tell everybody, oh, look, everything's on the up.
I was just about to ask that because gas prices over here are bordering like $5 a gallon right now for the cheapest shit that I can find.
Where are you at?
Silicon Valley, San Jose, California.
Oh, that's why.
California, yeah. They have like an extra $1 gas tax on their gas as it is. You cross the state line, it's $1 or something more. It's insane. But no, let's just change the definition of recession. You think this is what they did back in the 20s?
No, they probably didn't have much need.
Look at the numbers. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
They probably didn't have a whole lot of need. They just kept the whole idea that the banks were collapsing and everybody needed to go to the bank to make their withdrawals right now. And that's what everybody was doing. Oh my God, there's stock market's collapsing. What the fuck? They just kept that story in the primer, and that's what they ran when the time was right. They didn't have to worry about it. No, everything's fine here. I think the plot was almost sort of the other way around. Look, oh my God, everything is deadly and scary, and oh my God, we're all gonna starve, and you have to join together and go sign up for the Tennessee Valley fucking Authority.
Yeah. So is that coming eventually? And when do you think it would be if it does?
Once the public really starts to turn on the politicians, once they really start to wake up and you can kind of almost see it happening, that they'll just jingle some keys in front of them. And maybe it'll be like a sparkler. Maybe it won't be a keys. Maybe it'll be something a little more dangerous than just keys that they're going to dangle in front of your face. But
it'll give us a reason to all pull together and get through this together and not be mad at them. And
you got to put on your propeller beanies for patriotism, and we all got to come together to spin each other's propellers so we can all look cool in the name of brotherhood and the country and the USA and the magic skycloth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you want to put on a mask too, that'd be cool. Why not? We'll just tell you guys what to do, and those of you that will actually listen and follow directions and do what you're told when you're told to do it in a timely and efficient manner, well, you'll be able to proceed and buy groceries and things like that, and your social credit score will increase.
Let me ask you a question. Compared to the last debacle with COVID, how many people now will be so willing to put on a mask again?
I was just going to say, I saw my first family in forever. That was 3 people. It looked like a mother, father, and a son in his teens. And all 3 of them had their masks on. Nobody else around them, probably for miles. Here in South Carolina, never a mandate. You had maybe 30% of the population doing it when it was like at the peak. But you don't see that many nowadays. You'll see maybe one person, usually an elderly, or for some reason, teen to 25-ish, somewhere right around there.
I saw a similar family. Daughter had to be about 14, father, mother, maybe mid-40s, at Whole Foods. Same situation, all wear masks. I'm like, are you serious?
Okay, have you noticed a specific, aside from age, like an ethnicity involved with certain people? Because
I was gonna say these were white, upper middle class, lower upper class.
And I bet you that'd be about the
same here numbers. Where I live, and there's definitely a demographic involved in the remaining maskers here in my area, and no logical reason for it, just the facts of what I see.
It's paranoia, I think.
Well, the majority of people I've seen wearing masks are white. Just general observation.
Really?
I think it's compliance. I think it just shows their compliance and their willingness to believe whatever the fucking they're told. And if they're told that masks help society and you're doing your part, then that's what they're going to do because, well, they're good citizens. They're responsible citizens. And only responsible citizens will wear their mask.
Yeah, you think some of it's virtue signaling?
No, I was going to say, especially in the corporate areas, because over here at Bellworks, there's still a few people that wear them, but they said that everybody wore them here because, again, like in corporate culture, you have to go along, get along. You have to comply. You have to, you're a sheep. You have to. They can't even post anything controversial on their social media or anything. So even at the Zoom meetings, people were wearing friggin' masks. Go look up Zoom meetings where people wore masks at home. What the fuck is that?
Right?
Yeah, there were politicians doing that.
Classrooms, schools were
virtue
making
signaling. Yeah.
I mean, the ridiculous shit that people were doing. And I don't think that they could get people to put on masks again in the numbers that they did the first time because of this. But most of those people that would refuse to put on masks a second time will put on the propeller beanies and will flick their neighbor's propeller if the government tells them to. They won't put on a mask because fuck the government telling them what to do. Oh, but they want me to put on a propeller beanie? Well, we got to do it
instead of propeller beanie, honestly, what do you think that could actually do people into doing? Let's say instead of the mask, like what would be the next thing that people would comply to?
Anything the news tells them to.
The demonization of one entire personage of people, one way or the other. I think that the next
if you
Trump
scare
presidency
someone,
would be a lot like a.
They'll do anything.
More like a Hitler type regime would be my guess. If Donald Trump gets back in, I think he's going to assume a whole lot more power than was actually given to him. And
I agree, Josh. It's going to be
the things that
Germany
he
all
can
over
get
again.
his people to do is ridiculous. I think the common average person isn't going to do some stupid shit, but I think
that's a very good point. You make a very good point, because hindsight is 20/20. And I'll bet when he got out, he realized how many people he had next to him that he didn't, he trusted and that duped him.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he knows what he can do, and rethinking, we always rethink. Oh, if I could only do it again, I would do it this way.
Yep.
If he got back in, he would probably, like you said, rile up or get everybody motivated in the American public. And maybe, who knows?
And Josh, you know what's really interesting about what you just said is that Jaron has predicted a lot of the stuff about like politics and stuff and Trump, and he's been right for like the last 3 years or 4 years in a row. And Jaron has also predicted that like Trump was going to be out of office and then create his own social network situation.
That's only because he subscribes to my newsletter and he doesn't give me any credit. So just
I'm just saying that Jaron has also said that Trump will be the next president, and it's going to be worse than it was before. So I have no idea, but I don't really give a flying fuck about who's the president anymore because I don't think it matters. I don't know. I could be wrong. Jaron could be wrong. But it's just a big puppet show.
So did you guys hear about, thanks for whoever shared that in chat, the Stanford president resigned after following months-long investigation of an alleged research misconduct that cleared him of personally engaging in fraud or falsification of data.
Wait, Stanford University?
Yeah.
That's right over here. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
He said he acknowledged he had left mistakes in scientific papers uncorrected. So supposedly he didn't know they were wrong. Yeah, he knowingly did not go back and say, hey, I was wrong about this. This is the update, version 2.0, whatever you want to call it. He left data that he had collected out that it was like, it could have been fraudulent. When you're dealing with fraud, there has to be victims and this and that and stuff like that. So it's hard to prove fraud sometimes. But he admittedly left data in publications that he knew was incorrect.
Yeah, there's some weird shit with Stanford. Remember the whole the Supreme Court justice and the Stanford professor, whatever her name was? The fuck?
That was, what the hell was her name? I know what you're talking about. That'll come to me.
Yeah, there's just something really weird about that whole situation that was going on. And like John the Morgal actually did a really deep, in-depth video about it. If you haven't seen it, I'll try and pull it up.
Yeah, is that the one that he couldn't play on YouTube and put it on?
Well, I'll just say this. It's like that the two people that were involved in it have never been seen in the same room together. And if you overlay the faces, they kind of look like the same person. But just, the hair has changed a tiny little bit and there's makeup involved, things like that.
Who's that? Clarence Thomas and, come on.
No, Clarence Thomas is a black guy, I think, right?
Well, wasn't he involved with, wasn't there some rape charges with some professor? What's her name? What the hell was?
Fuck. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had the info at the moment.
Guess I'm conflating.
Yeah, a lot of these, well-accredited Ivy League type schools, you're finding that the people that are, not all of them, of course, but a lot of these people are not genuinely honest and searching for truth and teaching, it's turning around though. It really is. I can't wait to see what this next generation is going to do getting older with the information that they've been given at a young age about deceptions and lies and living through, the last few years. And probably hearing their parents talk. I mean, this is, it's exciting times.
Yeah, someone just said, it's Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh, and then was it Blossine Ford or some shit? I forget who else it was. That's it. Yeah. If you overlay the faces, and that was what Morgile was showing, is that they've never been shown in the same room together, even though they were involved in a major court case, and they look very, very similar. Fucking weird stuff.
Yeah, Morgile does some good research, and he's a sharp guy for sure. But that's about it, folks. Hope to see you this afternoon.
Yeah, and after this ends, I got something to share with you guys, because I was going to say it live, but I figured I would maybe keep it a little bit private for the time being.
Okay.
But it's positive.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you all in chat. I'm so glad everybody's doing better that was going through some stuff. Guys, send some love this way, definitely. And you guys, I hope, will come hang out with us this afternoon.
Should be cool. Guys, get your thinking caps on. We're going to be taking suggestions on what else we can kind of, I say we, the proverbial we. When I say we, I mean Zach. Zach and Nemo, what they can add.
Nemo and Zach, right.
To this Fortnite map that they're building, flat Earth style.
Yeah, big shout out to Nemo, man. He's been putting in some hours.
And never neglect, the kitties are awesome.
That's right.
Love y'all.
Love you guys. We will see you back here this evening for Have No Sphere. Otherwise, we'll be back on next week for Tuesdays and Friday mornings for the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Until then, you guys be good, be well, do good, and do well. We love you. Bye-bye.